Hey gang, welcome to another gear review. Today we're going to look at a camera that I use quite often for video, for photography, and even for travel. This is a camera I bet I use once a week and it has served me very well. Are you curious? I hope so. Let's take a look at one of my favorite daily drivers. So what is this mystery machine? It may surprise you. It's the Sony A7C II. You know, Sony's been making great cameras for years, and I've been using them for years with great results, and they continue to innovate and come up with these interesting models, and the A7C II is no exception. I kind of picture the engineering teams around Sony coming up with all their different ideas and figuring out how they're going to use some of this camera and some of this camera, and kind of peering over the cubicle walls to see what the other engineers are doing. But however they do it, they certainly come up with some great products, and the A7C II is another one. So let's take a look on where this camera fits in. On one hand, you've got the A7 IV, a fantastic all-rounder, a hybrid workhorse. It is the Swiss Army knife of hybrid cameras. And then Sony makes the FX3, which is a cinema-focused beast with no viewfinder, no shame, and a clear mission to make your YouTube footage look like a cinematic masterpiece. And right in between these two great cameras is the full-frame middle child. A child who went to film school but still knows how to change a tire. It's compact, it's powerful, it's smarter than your cousin from New Jersey, and it just might be the Goldilocks camera in Sony's lineup. Not too big, not too small, but just right. And smart enough to make every other camera feel a little bit dumb. Let's start with what matters. Under the hood, the A7C II is basically the A7 IV, wearing skinny jeans and a leather jacket. The same 33 megapixel full frame sensor, the same Bion Z XR processor, and nearly all the same photo quality and dynamic range you'd get from the big boy. But unlike the A7 IV, which can sometimes feel like carrying a small appliance, the A7 II is small. At 514 grams, it weighs less than a can of Red Bull. You could stick it in a sling bag and still have room for 3 lenses, a granola bar, and your existential dread. And check out this selection of prime lenses, these little compact lenses, a 24mm 2.8, a 40mm, and a 50mm, both 2.5, all G-line lenses. And don't forget, this is a full frame camera that takes all of the rest of the larger Sony and third-party lenses. So, you know, as many lens choices as the stars in the sky or the sand on the beach or whatever number you want to put on it, it's certainly more than anyone could afford to buy. But the thing that I love about the compact lenses is they actually are affordable, around $650 to $750 for these little travel-friendly compact lenses. I use the 24 and the 40 for primes, along with the little 28 by 60 kit lens, little kit zoom lens. And then I use the 16 to 35 2.8 for filming YouTube, like I'm doing today. So the A7 IV is unquestionably a photographer's camera. It is a good all-around hybrid camera. They run 2500 body only. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got the FX3, which is the filmmaker's camera, right? You're typically mounting an external monitor and building a big film rig around that camera body. And that thing goes for around $4,300. So the A7C II, this really is a hybrid shooter's camera. It does both photos and videos very well without making you feel compromised at all. And this body usually runs around $2,000. And let's talk about what you get with this thing. You know, 4K 60 frames per second, 10-bit, 422 S-Log 3 with Sony, and the new with picture profile 11 in the Sony menu is called S-Cinetone. And boy, do I love this profile. I shoot almost everything in it rather than shooting log and grading. This S-Cinetone gives you a great feel, and you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time editing and color grading and all those things, especially when you're doing YouTube or something like that for social media. You're not overkilling it, and you're getting your stuff up quickly, which I really appreciate. It has a proper vari-angle LCD, so you can really see from just about any angle. And of course, it's got the industry best Sony autofocus with tracking for humans, animals, cars, birds, insects, and probably aliens at this point. It doesn't have the active cooling or the timecode sync of the FX3, but guess what? It also doesn't look like a camcorder someone dropped in a toaster. I mean, it has a real viewfinder, a flash shoe, a mode dial, and all the newer Sony menus that are actually beginning to make sense. It's really the perfect middle ground. You can shoot a wedding, a docu-style short film, an Instagram video, and your uncle's Corvette all in one day, and it won't even break a sweat. With 33 megapixels, you've got enough resolution to crop your way out of bad framing or print billboard-sized posters of your dog's nose. Dynamic range is excellent, low light is rock solid, and skin tones, well, it's Sony. You might need to warm it up a little bit in post unless you like your subjects looking like moon rocks. And for photography, this is a genuine daily driver. It's lighter than the A7 IV, especially with the big lens on it, and it just feels great when you're running and gunning and trying to stay light with your equipment. It even has the new Sony quick menus and dual layer function menus, so you can stop spending 12 minutes looking for your white balance setting like it's buried under a bush in the backyard. Although, you know what's funny, I just had to change some settings now, and it took me probably 3 minutes to dig through the menu, so still some work to do on the menu, Sony. I take a hint from some of the Leica menus. Are very, very simple. Here's the thing. It's not all glory and freedom. The EVF is a tad weak given the A7 IV and some of the other competition out there. It's nowhere near a deal killer, but let's be honest, it's the same 2.36 million dot postage stamp they used in the first A7C. Sony, if I'm paying $2,000, I want a viewfinder that doesn't make me feel like I'm watching Netflix through a peephole. It has just one card slot. It's UHS 2, so they upgraded a little bit, but only one. And this is a big one for professionals and maybe a deal killer for that crowd. It's fine if you're a pro who likes living dangerously. Not so fine if you're shooting someone's wedding and praying the SD card doesn't spontaneously combust. And although it's dust and splash resistant, it doesn't have an official IP weather rating. This is similar to most of the Sonys, not just the A7C II. It'll survive a drizzle, but don't expect it to shrug off a Montana blizzard or a Florida hurricane. This camera is really targeted at the hybrid creator, someone who loves the positives of the A7 series and someone who also wants a little taste of the FX3 without spending that kind of money. But what it does give you is a blend of both. So it takes that FX3 and really gives you, mode dials and a viewfinder and some kind of normal ergonomics without having to build out a full film kit. So I think the Sony is right where it needs to be, right where it was designed to be, smack dab in the middle of the A7 IV and the FX3, giving you the best of both worlds. It's got the brains of the A7 IV and the soul of the FX3 and that trim, smaller body of a chiseled Olympic athlete. I usually shoot this with a cage on it. I like a little hand grip. My hands are a little large and it's a little small without that, so I use a small rig cage on it. And the EVF while not the best, is good, right? And you spend a lot of time shooting off the screen on the back, as I said anyway. But all in all, it's just such a great camera. It's almost too good at what it does.
Yay! Woo!
So for my rating, I'd give this thing a solid 9 out of 10. The A7C II is what happens when the A7 IV gets drunk in Vegas and hooks up with the FX3 and produces a brilliant new child. Good looking, compact, and slightly rebellious. I do think this camera is the all-day hybrid shooter's camera, and I just love it. Hey, if you like this video, don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. It really helps the channel. You know, we're in the early days here, and any like or subscribe you can give me is very appreciated. And I'm working like crazy to get 1 or 2 videos up a week and keep you guys entertained. So thanks for joining me today. Good fun reviewing one of my favorites, the A7C II. It is a camera I use, a workhorse. Like all my Sonys tend to be cameras that I use as tools rather than maybe like my Leicas that I use as enjoyment. But if you've got a A7C II, it'd be great to hear from you in the comments, or if you're thinking about one or want to compare it to some other models. Always good to get some lively discussion going. As I always say on these videos, if you've got a few minutes, get out and shoot pictures and practice. It all helps to make you a better photographer and have some fun and get some exercise. Thanks for watching this gear review, and we'll see you on the next one.